Okay. Getting back to the Madara stuff. So, what do you think Hashirama's Genjutsu resistance even is? Or do you think he just doesn't have any?
Yeah.
Because Naruto, we get the explanation. Man,
because, like,
perfect save.
If you wanted to argue Sage Mode, whatever things, there's so much into a problem because he just doesn't use Sage Mode in what we see until the final Valley fight. So maybe he used it without his golems and without Buddha statue, but like we're not shown that. He's just fighting in base.
I can give you a couple.
I don't think Sage Mode's the answer.
I can give you a couple different interpretations. So for Sage Mode, you can argue that because at least through Kabuto, it's explained that chakra's constantly funneling into him in his Sage Mode. If you think the same is applying for all Sage Modes, including Hashirama's, then that could be how the chakra's disrupted because it's constantly new chakras pumping into him.
Okay, at the very least, this. Because Kabuto's a unique case for Sage Mode, but I do think there's an easy explanation. So you need to just disrupt the enemy's control of chakra. Yeah. So if hypothetically Hashirama's in Genjutsu and he's literally paralyzed to stand still, perfect. He's entire his flute. Then he absorbs nature energy because he's sitting still. That's gonna change the flow of chakra, and that could just break him out. So hypothetically, every time Madara puts Hashirama in Genjutsu, he just goes into Sage Mode. Like that could work. My problem though is he's not using Sage Mode in these fights until the final Valley.
Exactly.
So,
another possibility.
Just it immediately? Like,
this is a silly one, but another possibility would be his healing. He can heal without weaving a single hand sign. So whatever healing shenanigans you want to think, if you just want to think about it generally, fine. If you want to have a specific explanation, maybe he heals. He creates new cranial nerves or whatever you want it to be.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Kind of ridiculously crazy OP, but that's kind of cool.
Kind of stupid. So I don't think it's that one of the three.
I don't think it is, but
the third one could be he's connected to the wood golem, to where the wood golem would be the one to technically, quote unquote, break him out because it's the vibrance of the radiance of the energy of the chakra, blah, blah, blah. It's chakras touching him. There you go.
I mean, I don't like this really, but like, well, okay, I have a counter argument to this, but it's also possible that Hashirama is just good enough to break out because assuming Madara doesn't have Tsukuyomi or Kodo Matsukami, those are kind of the exceptions to rule. Tsukuyomi, it's like over and it's like the strongest thing ever, and it's over in a millisecond. You don't have time to break out. You're already done before you can break out. And then Kodo Matsukami, you don't even know you're in it. Assuming Madara's Genjutsu is just Mangekyo Genjutsu, similar to Sasuke. I mean, he falls for Sasuke's subtle Genjutsu, but he does just break out of Sasuke's Mangekyo Genjutsu on his own. Danzo does it. And if that's the case, Hashirama might just be able to just break out. Like, he's just strong enough and skilled enough to just do it. And I realize people might not like it, but he might just be good enough at it.
You that could argue really that.
Because basically it'd be like he's breaking out of Itachi's finger Genjutsu. And Madara just doesn't have Tsukuyomi. Because he doesn't. Clearly. So it could just be that.
Yeah. So that would be basically just, well, the thing with Danzo is he has Sharingan, so, but I'll just ignore that for this.
Yeah, but he's not using that. You know.
Yeah, I'll just ignore that entirely for this. I'll just ignore Danzo. That's a point entirely. So you could just say it's the chakra flex. He's literally physically just strong enough. The same reason that Mello and Bara debate of whether or not you can put the Otsutsuki under a Genjutsu, because they're probably just too strong to where it doesn't matter if you do, they'll just break out or whatever, or you just can't do it. The problem here for me is the fact that Madara...
Kurama.
Yeah, Madara has Genjutsu, we see through Kurama, and he's willing to use Genjutsu, we see through Kurama. Also through that one guy he used Genjutsu on in the war. That one poor
He also
fella.
used it on A.
Yeah.
So
True.
right there, though, it wouldn't be necessarily just Hashirama's strength. It would also be a skill, and you just have to say Kurama doesn't have that skill.
So the thing is, if it's strong enough, okay, I understand Hashirama's stronger than
I know. The problem is, like, that seems ridiculous. Like, Kurama should be able to.
Exactly. Like, the thing is, Kurama's strong. It's like, we could easily do it.
So, I don't really know, like, what, like, so Sage Mode is the best one, except for the fact that he's not using it in these fights.
Because, okay, at the very least, if he's going to break himself out, fine. Let's say he can do it fairly quickly. Fine. If Madara does to Hashirama what he did to that one guy in the war, to where he's literally crouched right by the dude's legs and he puts him in the Sharingan, like he's within grabbing, all right, Hashirama's done. It doesn't matter.
I mean,
0.02 seconds is all he needs, and then he just gets kunai to the neck.
So I will also add this one as another possibility. This is stupid, but like, it's possible that because again, with a few exceptions, most of these Sharingan Genjutsu require eye contact. It's possible that Hashirama just doesn't look at his eyes. He just knows not to do that. He's looking at his feet. Like, it's possible he's just doing that.
Yeah.
The other possibility, this one's both makes a lot of sense and really stupid, but especially as you get later on with the Mount Gecko fights, a lot of what Madara and Hashirama are doing are far away kaiju battles. It's not even be able to see the eyes. They're just too far away to do that.
I mean, I don't think that's actually the case, since that doesn't seem to be the case with the voices anyways. They're freaking talking across miles.
I know, they're like, yeah, but like, but to be fair though, at that distance, it's the easiest thing in the world to just not look in his eyes. It doesn't matter. He can look at his feet. It does not matter to what they're doing in that fight. He's looking at the Susanoo anyway. Like, so
my problem with that one is, whereas it can work because Might Guy's sort of aloof, just like Hashirama would be, and Might Guy is able to figure out to not look, well, to be fair, Kakashi tells him, but don't look at the feet. He can actually do that. He does do that. So Hashirama should be able to do that. My problem with that, Hashirama clearly isn't doing that. He's blatantly, consistently looking Madara in the eyes. Like, purposely. He's going out of his way to stare him down.
Okay, the funniest case of that, in my opinion, is freaking Jiraiya. Like, when he just stares at Itachi's eyes, just not care. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Like, ooh, let me count your double.
It's just like, why are you doing this?
Oh my god. Because he knows that he's this informant, he would never put him under Genjutsu.
I mean, that's an explanation, bro. Because, like, you gotta look at it from Jiraiya's perspective. He's telling Kakashi about the Akatsuki. He's like, hey, Orochimaru was a member. That guy Itachi, he's a member. Now, Jiraiya can think he can win all he wants, but, like, he should think that, like, Itachi's comparable to Orochimaru, who is, like, not massively stronger than. Did you notice that? Yeah. Jiraiya's only lost to Orochimaru. You shouldn't think you can just stare Itachi in the eye. Like,
it's ridiculous.
So stupid.
So there's one more method before I get to the point of this, because all this is leading to something. I hope you'll agree with my narrative explanation, but before that, one more way.
I mean,
and
I
this
haven't
is
guessed at what your narrative explanation is gonna be.
I'm curious what it's gonna be. But this is probably the most reach of an explanation for Hashirama's Genjutsu resistance. It's not that he has resistance, it's that he has preparatory methods to get around it in the first place, to where he's not immune at all. He just doesn't have the opportunity to be hit by it. So, for example, he could just be fast enough to, if you're assuming that Genjutsu works similar to Ino's mind transfer jutsu, to where he has to just shoot it in the eyes, he could just be fast enough to just dodge it, which is stupid. But outside of that, he could, instead of precogging it, he could use, for example, infinite darkness jutsu. Something like that should get around the possibility of Genjutsu being used on him when he's using it. I mean, assuming you think he has it.
So this is the funniest way. Because I was gonna say, okay, but Madara can probably break that Genjutsu, but then they'd just be going back and forth. It's that, if Madara's trying to do the Genjutsu, infinite darkness, he's just gonna keep going back and forth with them going back and forth, and it gets nowhere, so they just both give up.
Yeah. Well, the stupid explanation would be if Hashirama used it on himself, so that Madara, it's just like, I don't know how that would work. It's just like environmental darkness around. Wherever he goes, he just can't see his eyes.
And he doesn't have Sage mode. It's just guessing where he is.
At that point, he's basically Kabuto.
Yeah, exactly.
Close his eyes.
That's funny.
I mean, that's silly, but that is another possibility. He closes his eyes.
Genjutsu idea is not the worst thing in the world when you think about it, because it's clear that it's designed to he has this thing. Well, what does he use it at? Oh, it's probably for Madara.
I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. I mean, it feels like we would have seen it.
That strong. I know. It's just like,
this is even weird.
But then again, Shirusen never broke out of it.
I mean, unironically, what you just said though,
if actually it's Toby Rama in the anime too.
Exactly, yeah, that's the problem. But unironically, that might just be the best explanation, even though that's blatantly not what we see, is that he's fighting blind and using Sage Mode just like Kabuto.
I mean, it works.
Just closes his eyes. Again, the problem is that's not what we see. So we're just seeing something wrong, which is technically fine. I mean,
Infinite Darkness is stupid, but it might be the most consistent.
So it just doesn't make sense because all the times we see the fight, he's not using Infinite Darkness, so it wouldn't apply during every moment of the fight that we see.
Well, no, but again, so the way that one would work is he uses Infinite Darkness, Madara breaks out, they're just going back and forth, so they just give up on the Genjutsu. It's off screen when they do that.
So that's actually kind of getting to my narrative explanation. Since you sort of had a guess, I'm curious what your guess was anyways, if you have any idea of where I'm going with this.
So it might not be what it was, but like, whether Madara just gives up on it or just never tries in the first place, he doesn't want to win that way. Like, he wants to overpower Hashirama, especially when he's got the Susanoo. It's like he wants the Susanoo to beat the Wood Golem and stuff. So he wants to, like, beat Hashirama at his own game, these kaiju battles, as opposed to, like, Genjutsu trickery, whatever. Like, he wants to be stronger, but
yeah,
not necessarily what you're going for.
That is basically the idea in different words. What I was going for.
It's kind of like Naruto versus Sasuke. Sasuke could have just Genjutsu Naruto probably, but like he wants to win.
Naruto has the Kurama inside to break him out.
Yeah. When Kurama was real friendly, breaking him out in the freaking Kabuto's feather Genjutsu, huh? When he broke him out of Itachi's Genjutsu, huh? When he broke him out of every Genjutsu, huh?
Perfect Jinchuriki breakout explanation, blah, blah, blah.
I'm talking about first Final Valley, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was not.
Okay, yeah, I realized that after. I was like, yeah, okay, he's talking about... When you said perfect Jinchuriki, okay, we're not there at the same fight.
Yeah. To be fair, does Sasuke have Sharingan Genjutsu at that point in the series, at the end of part 1? He should, but does he? Does he have it in any filler? Any filler?
That's what I was gonna say. He might in the fillers, but the problem is the only filler where he could have possibly done that is gonna be the Idate one.
I know. So okay, I'll still count it if it's a Shippuden flashback or even Naruto Part 1 flashback filler. I just don't know if there even is any Naruto Part 1 flashback fillers.
When does Sasuke? Because I honestly don't think Sasuke uses Genjutsu until like the Data fight.
So ridiculous.
But it's not his thing. And they're only doing it then because they're prepping us for Sasuke versus Itachi. They're doing Itachi parallels for the Data fight, and then same with the Danzo fight. And then he stops using Genjutsu for the most part because they're done with it.
Would you count what Sasuke did against Orochimaru during the body transfer stuff as Genjutsu? Would you count that as Genjutsu?
I don't know what it was. But
it doesn't seem
to be Genjutsu.
It doesn't feel like Genjutsu.
The shackle stakes. That is Genjutsu, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll give you that. Okay, but like outside of that, what I mean is like the weird overpowering in that spirit mind space, whatever he did. That doesn't feel like it's Genjutsu, but it feels like it's what that was. It feels like it's because of his visual acuity overpowering Orochimaru or his will, but not because of Genjutsu. No sense, but okay. There's coolness to it, but you already know I don't like it. Yes,
I don't like Orochimaru. I'm biased. I don't like it.
Of course. I mean, Sasuke didn't like it either. He said that he should have lost.
Anyway, get out of that one.
Oh my gosh. So okay, but
I also just want to say real quick, Orochimaru just slithers out of those shackle stakes. He just keeps moving forward. They don't do anything.
Yeah.
I'll also say that I do think this might be anime only, but when Orochimaru is in Itachi shackle stakes, he does just move his arms to do something, and then Itachi chops his arm off. So he was gonna break that Genjutsu. For all we know, he was gonna do the one-shot heroes in an Enma technique on Itachi before Itachi chopped his arm off.
It's definitely a closer fight than people think.
Itachi was scared.
Exactly. He was not taking any chances there.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but I wish you were. No, I'm gonna do like the OP jutsus that nobody talks about, and I wrote that one down.
So, okay, actually, funny enough, that actually does connect back to the Madara thing, because Itachi's perfect for this. The way Itachi fights is very ninja tool-y, to where, okay, I'm going to explain something that you're going to disagree with because you disagree in the past. I'm going to explain something else that you haven't heard of. So I'm going to start with that. So in the Demon Slayer movie, Infinite Castle, the main character is fighting one of the demons, and the demon has a similar thing about like strength and weakness and blah, blah, blah. And weakness disgusts me, just like Madara. The main character gets behind the demon and can decapitate him, but he screams to let him know that he's behind him before trying to do it, to make it fair. Because only weaklings would attack towards the back or blah, blah, blah narrative things there. Because that was always some unfair, cruel thing that strong character didn't like the demon. And so the demon accepts his loss because he did that as like a narrative thing. Because Tanjiro won fair and square, instead of trying to sneak him because he's a weakling, he instead fought him as a strong person and overpowered him as a strong person. And that's why the demon accepts the fact he lost and doesn't regenerate or blah, blah, blah. So going back to Itachi, Itachi isn't fighting you in a fair, quote unquote, way. This goes back to the thing you disagreed with.
Okay, real quick. I completely agree, but I am, just for the sake of this, going to counter you. There is an exception. There is an exception.
Okay. Well, do you want to say your exception first?
Itachi versus Naruto and B. He literally tells B behind you.
His body can't move. He doesn't want to fight. If anything, that proves...
that's when he's at his most tool moment.
That proves the fact that's how Itachi fights. His body's moving on its own to fight that way. That's his autonomous fighting style. But I would say...
Yes, Itachi's like Minato. They are fast, efficient, go for your throat. Tobirama as well. Like, they're going to go for the instant kill move.
Yeah, again, that's just like Tobirama's flying Raijin Slice against Izuna. I'm sure Izuna thought that was unfair. Madara didn't like it. It counters the Sharingan, blah, 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 but it's an insta-kill, unfair move, basically. He doesn't have any chance to prepare against it. And the video that I was saying that we disagreed on, well, VOD, I should say, or whatever, the clip that I clipped out, was Minato dropping his backpack, teleporting behind the guy with the kunai and slashing his throat, that one Cloud Ninja, whatever, and that one flashback, you know what I'm talking about? With the Kid Kakashi's there, and he sees it.
I guess they dropping the bag was to distract him and make it unfair.
Because if you remember, you disagreed with me on that. You said that was like completely fair. It was Shinobi-like, blah, 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 and it was completely fine that he did that. Where I was saying, no, that was bad and evil and mean and all these things, basically. I don't know if you remember that.
I'm not going to say it was bad, evil, or mean.
It's a fighting style. So
I don't remember exactly, because I feel like you're bastardizing, you're paraphrasing up the debate, because the way you're presenting it, well, a ninja must see through deception. Ninja art is trickery. I don't see how this is not, like, this is just ninja fighting, fair and square.
I don't think that's deception, though. He didn't deceive the guy, unless you want to... I don't think him dropping the backpack was part of his ninja tactic of deception.
I don't think it was anything. I think he's just showing off.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I don't think that was
that's why I wouldn't say it's unfair or anything.
Yeah. I don't remember at all what the video is, if you remember at all.
No, that's my problem. Is that, like, I feel like you're bastardizing, you're paraphrasing of it, because I feel like we're just going to be on the same page with what we're saying right now. But I don't know what it would be in.
Yeah, I have no idea. I doubt I titled the video Minato. I remember watching the video more than once because I thought it was really funny. It's a kind of short video. If anyone out there knows, please link it at some point. Anyways, Hashirama calls Itachi a greater shinobi than him because of the stuff that Itachi does. So Itachi's like the number one shinobi of all time in terms of being a shinobi.
He's doing that because of Will of Fire and stuff. He's not doing it because of his shinobi insta-kill move things that Hashirama doesn't even
Well,
normally
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Outside of
not the Shinobi,
like,
not because of the way he fights, but because of the decisions he made. I wouldn't necessarily say Will of Fire. If you'd say that, then it's like the dark version of the Will of Fire, not because he's whatever.
it's about like it's about the lengths he goes to protect to the village, and that's why I just said Will of Fire. Like,
I don't think it's about that. I think it's about his tooliness, that he was willing to listen to the village as much as possible. That's the kind of Shinobi that Hashirama wanted there.
I don't think that. I think it's that he was willing to do anything to protect the village because Sasuke's telling him that basically when Hashirama says it, it's that like, even at the end of the day, Itachi insisted he was Itachi Uchiha of the Leaf. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't
think
Hashirama was not being like, hell yeah, he killed the clan, let's go, bro. Like, it's not what he was doing.
Yeah, I think what you said,
you
though,
can say Tobirama was thinking that, but like, that's not
funny.
Hashirama.
No, but I think the two things go hand in hand, though. Being willing to go to any extent to protect the village and being a shinobi tool, those two things are basically synonymous in this instance.
Say that again. I was looking for when does Hashirama say this?
We're agreeing. We're saying the same thing. Him going to any extent and him being a tool, we're basically meaning the same thing.
Yeah, but there's a different connotation to the way we're saying it.
Itachi didn't do a good thing.
I agree, but that's why I'm trying to find this specific scene. There's a reason, because I want to see when exactly Hashirama says it so that we can see what he's responding to.
Sure. Well, while you're doing that, I guess I'll continue with my things. So whatever Genjutsu resistance you think Hashirama may have, I don't think it really matters, because I think in Madara's case, Madara's Genjutsu should be too strong, to where I don't think Hashirama should effectively have Genjutsu resistance that's going to make a difference in the fight, that's going to basically negate Madara's Genjutsu. So my interpretation, similar to the Demon Slayer thing, weakness discussed Madara, he doesn't want to win in that unfair way. He wants to confront Hashirama head on. When he's with the Nine Tails, he's not running around the Thousand-Armed Buddha statue. He's confronting it head on. He's doing everything head on, regardless if it's going to cause damage or whatever. He's going to try and block it to overpower it. He's not going to dodge out of the way. He's not going to move around it. He's not going to attack Hashirama in the back. And that's why it's pretty important that Madara's narrative is about being very aware of his back, and weakness disgusts him. I'm sure anytime a Senju tried to do him, that's why he feels that way. That's why he has awareness of his back, because he's been attacked multiple times. That's why he would know in the first place, and he'd be stronger than people that try to attack him at his back, just like Tobirama. And he was clearly disgusted when Tobirama did try to do that to him in the war arc. So he's disgusted when people do that. He doesn't think that Hashirama's going to do that, which is why it's so important that Hashirama did do that to conclude that fight. Would you agree with that?
I think, yeah, I would say I like just about everything you said.
So it's to say, Madara wants to fight fair and square to overpower and defeat Hashirama fairly because he's the strongest. Madara wants to prove he's the strongest by defeating the strongest, not by one-shot sneak killing the strongest like he could. So,
which is what I was saying earlier. He wants to be stronger, not
exactly. So that's
win.
To say what Hashirama
makes the decision there. And in this case, because you can say, Madara is stronger, I'm going to say they're equal when I say this, and Hashirama wins because of this. Hashirama makes the decision to not do that in that moment because it's he makes the decision, I'm going to eliminate this threat. However, exactly. I need to.
So,
whatever that means.
We agree then, because based on that, you and I agree two things. First, Madara would not have done what Hashirama did. He never would have attacked Hashirama at the back to kill him or to end the fight like that. And two, Hashirama wasn't willing to do that before that moment. He wouldn't have taken that opportunity if it was presented to him before that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most, I mean, you could say context is different, but the most obvious case of that is when he just doesn't stab lying down helpless Madara in that other fight, you know?
Yeah, it's similar to like Sasuke trying to charge Obito right after he loses the Ten Tails, whereas everyone else is like, no, stop, don't do that, Sasuke.
Exactly, yeah.
And like Tobirama
Sasuke was
it,
being like, Itachi and Minato there. You know?
Yeah, and Tobirama tried to take out Madara there in a way, but Hashirama said no. But okay, I'm glad you at least agree with that. So with that being said, Madara probably thought the same thing that I just said, that Hashirama wasn't willing to do that, which is why I think he was surprised when Hashirama did do that. Not the fact that, oh, someone snuck up behind me. Oh, wow, I guess I was wrong about my back. But the fact that Hashirama chose to do that when Madara thought he was above that, he was better than that he thought he wouldn't resort to a tactic like that. He's surprised at the choice Hashirama made, not at the fact that his back was taken.
Well, so narratively, I agree with what you're saying. That said, I happened to just scroll to this when I was looking for something else. He does just say, I can't believe my back was taken.
Does he say that word for word? That's so funny.
Coincidence. Because I was trying to find, this is interesting. You know that line we were saying about Hashirama saying, oh, I think your brother's an even greater shinobi than I.
Yeah.
I think that's anime only. Because I cannot find. The closest I found is him saying, it gave rise to darkness such as that born by your older brother Itachi. Blah, blah, blah. I create these circumstances. Blah, blah, blah. And the only thing I'm seeing closest is when Sasuke says, it turns out my brother inherited your will of fire without ever
it's in the manga.
I looked it up. He endured harder than you and died saying he was proud to be a Konoha shinobi. It's ironic that Shinobu understood you most as a member of the Uchiha clan.
It's in the manga.
And then they start talking, and nowhere does Hashirama say. So I'm not going to go find this in the anime and see, like, is this anime only, or am I just
do you hear me?
Figuring out where this...
Are you just not listening? It's in the manga. I posted it.
Where?
I don't know where. It took me 2 seconds on Google to find it.
Where is this? How can I not find this? When is this moment?
Are you looking at chapter like 12 or something? Like, where are you looking?
I'm trying to... I went through the whole freaking thing. Where does he say this?
See, Kamui, this is why you shouldn't read so fast. You probably skimmed over it.
They talked about it. All right, I'm going to look for that thumbs up. Oh, you know what? We might as well do the segue to this topic, because this could easily be what's happening here, too.
Well, real quick, so to finish that also, I just want to say that I think Madara's choosing not to use Genjutsu on Hashirama, even if he could, because he doesn't want to do that. And I'll also say, assuming I'm right, so we don't argue about this, assuming I'm right, that Madara was always planning to die in that fight to Hashirama, to be the ghost of Uchiha, blah, 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 then I think he was expecting Hashirama to just kill him normally instead of sneaking him in the back. And so I do still think that Madara's line, I can't believe my back was taken, it still applies to everything that I said. Because he's despite what he literally says, I think what he means can still mean just as much.
It could, yeah.
But yeah.
But